It's time for the Brouhaha Sports Show. Brouhaha Sports with award-winning sports writer Dale McKee and co-host Marshall Wood. Talking sports with the legends of the game and famous sports personalities. Brouhaha. Now to Marshall and Dale with tonight's guest.
Good evening, everyone. Brouhaha time. Marshall Wood, Dale McKee doing it again. Always a pleasure to see you, Dale, on these Tuesday nights to talk about sports and all the good stuff in life.
Well, thank you. It just doesn't seem like Tuesday night.
No, that's a pretty shirt you got on. What is that? That SD. What's that stand for? San Diego?
Yeah,
Where'd you get that shirt?
San Diego.
Oh, yeah. You went all the way out there to get it, too, didn't you? That's
did.
when I bought it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, you go out there and you've talked about seeing some of the professional teams.
Well, I went to the stadium one night. The Padres were playing baseball with my family out there. We went out
They were
there.
playing baseball with your family?
Well, no, we were all out there at the game. And my wife said, why don't you get you one of them shirts? And I said, I just don't want to pay $140 for a shirt. And she said, okay. So the next day we went to Walmart and saw the exact same shirt for $20.
That's that McKee look right there. Boy, that's clean living. That'll get that for you every time.
There you go.
Man.
There you go. Good. So did you watch any ball Saturday?
No.
No?
Yeah, I watched some ball Saturday.
Good.
I watched the Rebels.
You did?
I did. I watched some of the Bulldogs.
Okay.
I tell you what, I don't like the Bulldogs quarterback.
He
put on a show.
Well,
man.
we said earlier in the year if they can keep him standing straight up.
Yeah, you said that.
Yeah.
I wish I'd have said it.
Yeah.
I just said, yeah, right.
I thought it was a good one. But not getting into a lot of comparison, but one thing disturbs me about some teams that are not doing good on the field of play. Mississippi State fans showed up and showed out.
Yeah.
I mean, they came to that game, a 2-10 team last year. They almost had a packed house, and they stayed to the end, and they cheered them an hour before the game and an hour after the game.
It was loud.
I mean,
man, it looked like the place to be.
Yeah, if you are a supporter of a team, you've got to go to their games.
Yeah.
And let them know even when they're doing bad.
You let them know when they're doing bad. Is that what you're supposed to do? If you support a team that's doing bad, you let them know?
No, you go when you support them.
Oh, even if they're doing bad?
Yeah. Even
oh, okay. I thought you said let them know. Don't you think they already know?
I don't think you got to tell them.
Hey, you guys aren't doing so good,
Yeah.
I need to reevaluate a little bit.
Yeah.
But anywho.
Sure.
It was a lot of fun this weekend.
Yeah.
It's always.
I thought there were a little bit better games this weekend than last weekend.
Yeah.
But there's the biggest improvement. I was impressed with Army's coming back and beating Kansas State. Kansas State is one of the preseason favorites in the Big 12, and I was impressed Monday night with Sunday night with the Bills coming back and beating the Ravens.
Wasn't that something?
And that doesn't happen very often. And that far behind. That Central Florida and Florida, I mean, I know.
Billy
Listen,
Napier in trouble?
Well, you would think so because the schedule the next 4 weeks, they go to LSU, or they have LSU. I don't know where they play. They play LSU, they play Miami, they play Texas and Texas A&M, but no defending Florida. Their offense looked out of sync and everything like that. The little bit that I watched, the quarterback's timing looked off with his receivers. But the main thing was Central Florida went up there all excited to play.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, Florida's thinking, well, we got this next 4-game stretch, especially with LSU next week. We just going to take care of business today.
Yeah.
And I don't think they were ready to play.
Yeah.
But that's no
excuse. You got to take care of your business.
That's no excuse.
And saying it don't get it done, does it?
Yeah, no.
Who you got for our guest tonight, Gail? Gail?
We've got
I was thinking about Gail Sayre.
Well, he's just always going to have his hand in sports, I guess, like I am. But Parrish Alford. He used to be at the Hattiesburg American, Meridian Star, and he was at the Tupelo, the Northeast Daily Journal forever. And now he works for an online Magnolia Tribune, which is a online newspaper for the whole state. But he kind of does their sports for them, and he's involved in it. And he's also, I believe it's American Family Talk out of Tupelo. He works for them too.
Okay.
He's a good guy.
Well, I think we've had him before. I think I said that already.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're looking forward to hearing what Parrish has got to say. So how about we take a break to hear from our sponsor, and then Dale and I'll be back with tonight's guest, Parrish Alford, right after this commercial break.
Phillips Building Supply in Laurel, your hometown building supply store since 1954. We are locally owned and pride ourselves on helping our customers find exactly what they need. From foundations to roofs to doors and windows, Phillips has it. For tools, hardware, lumber, and plywood, visit Phillips Building Supply.
Welcome to the show, Parrish. Parrish, good talk to you again today, and we appreciate you coming on our show. I know we've had you as a guest a couple times, and of course with me is my big buddy Marshall Wood here, and he's going to interject a little bit, I'm sure, with his great knowledge of the game of football. But tell us about your thoughts on the three schools, Ole Miss and Mississippi State, and the Southern Miss Jackson State game. What's your take on all those three games from this past weekend?
Well, I tell you, Mississippi State obviously had a really nice win there. It's been a while, and I thought that was just some validation that Jeff Lebby has things going in the right direction. Now, Arizona State ran for 251 yards, and that was a big focus for State in the off-season, trying to get better defensively, particularly along the line of scrimmage. It's hard to say that 251 yards was in and of itself a validation there, but just the belief and the energy, the ability to overcome some stability right now at quarterback, where they had the injury with Blake Shapen last year, and then Michael Van Buren leaving in the offseason. Things look really good for them at that position right now, obviously a critical position, but just a big win and a big boost for Jeff Lebby after a 2-10 season last year. Didn't see much of Jackson State and Southern, but I thought that Southern really, the Southern game against State was kind of an indication to me that State really had gotten better, at the line of scrimmage. Obviously, some work to do there still, but Southern couldn't block those guys, and that's not something you said a whole lot about Mississippi State last year. Really, the Golden Eagles getting a win, the first of the Charles Huff era there, not terribly surprising against a SWAC opponent. I think there would have been a lot of disappointment if that hadn't played out that way. The game I saw the most of was Ole Miss and Kentucky, and I thought it really turned on that fourth down play there where Kentucky really kind of sold out for the run, and Simmons lofted it over and got the 55-yard play down. They scored right after that. That was, to me, the way Simmons started that game with the two interceptions, it really could have turned south for him and for Ole Miss. And for Lane Kiffin and his staff and really Austin Simmons to regain some composure and kind of right themselves. Kentucky, obviously, they were 1-7 last year, but when they beat Ole Miss and Oxford, having just played Georgia so close, I mean, that was a different team that Ole Miss lost to than the one it became at the end of the season. And this is not a series that's an easy series for Ole Miss. For them to go in that environment and just a place to have Simmons get his first start, and for him to right that ship after that game could have gotten away from them, I thought that was really important.
Well, if you reflect back on that Ole Miss Kentucky game of last year, I just remember that Kentucky kept the ball for like 40 minutes. And it was a little bit more even this past Saturday. Kiffin had more time with his offense than he did maybe in Oxford. And you know, Kentucky almost, at times I thought Ole Miss late, and you correct me if I'm wrong, I thought it late, they were just playing not to lose. And what's your comment on that? I'm talking about Ole Miss.
I thought it kind of looked like, you talking about last year?
No, this year.
Saturday. Yeah, I did think it kind of looked that way. But they were able to, guys, I've got to step away a second. I've got some things I need to take care of here at work that's coming up. I'm sorry. I thought I was going to be free at this time.
That's perfectly okay. We'll make it happen,
Yeah.
Parrish.
Yeah,
And,
I'm sorry about that, guys. Give me a shout later.
Okay, have a good day, sir. And thank
All right.
you. Yes,
Bye-bye.
sir. Well, Dale, we'll pick it up and go with it.
Okay.
What were we talking about?
Well, you know, we appreciate Parrish, you know, and his time, but you know where it does. You know, you got to make a living, right?
You know, you gotta
gotta make a living.
We don't pay a whole lot.
No, we really don't. Is Jamie listening to
Maybe
this
that's
show?
the problem. Maybe we need.
Maybe if we paid our guests, you know.
Yeah. What was the? You'd ask him a question there. What was that last?
Well, I
question
asked him if Ole Miss, it looked like to him, it looked like to me late in the game, they were playing not to lose. And,
Well, when you start that, you can get yourself in trouble, can't you?
yeah, I think, an older man told me one time a prevent defense prevents you winning.
Prevent defense.
That was him.
Okay, well, somebody got him on another line. They may patch him back through here in a minute, and we'll see.
Okay.
We'll see. But we're just this is an exciting show we have going on here. We got an interview. We got our guest having to jump out on us in the middle of the segment, and then calling back. And I'm telling you, this is a real brouhaha, Dale.
Yeah, it's like it's like one of those things. Bear Bryant said you got to expect the unexpected. Got to be prepared for it.
We got somebody walking in here. How are we doing here today? Our host. You got a call for us? We're on the air. Have you got a call for us coming in? What do we need to do? Okay. There's a button here we can push to get them, and we got cats coming in the office. We got all kind of stuff going on here. Let's see here. Are you there? Are you there, Parrish?
No. I
Well,
can transfer.
Okay. We got the Kelly. Well, Kelly, the office cat's made her way in. She was kicked out there a while ago. She's glad to be with us in our studio here, and so all good. Dale's giving me all kind of hand signals and speaking silently, and I don't have a clue what he's saying. You want to say it out loud? Something you can say out loud, Dale?
Well, if I want
for
to
all
say
our
it out,
friends can hear.
well, if I wanted to say it out loud, you know what I would do?
You say it out loud.
Say it. Okay. All right. So let's call him back. Okay. Let's get him back on the phone.
Okay, we're just gonna keep recording. We'll just call him right back.
Okay.
You gonna get him on that phone right there, or what?
Well, I can.
Call him on your phone and put the speaker on. We'll just make this thing work any way we can. Dale's calling him now.
Hello?
Hey, it's us again.
And we are recording, and every time
yeah.
you touch that phone, it makes noise, Dale. So put the phone down there.
Well, I just want to make sure he can hear us good.
Well, I can hear you. I'm sorry about that. I've been waiting on somebody to come, and they just showed up. And they showed up to tell me they were going to come in an hour.
That's awesome. That sounds like one of my deals.
Yeah.
Hey, but you know what, Parrish? This is Redneck Radio 101, brother, and we can do it either way. It's perfect. So we just appreciate it.
That's good. That's good. I know there are fixes.
Yeah. There's fixes to everything. But the older that we get, Parrish, the less it bothers me. I don't know what the issue is. So anyway, but okay. Well, we were talking about Ole Miss playing not to lose. I think that's what we were talking about. I thought the running game of the Rebels looked a little bit better.
Yeah, I did think it looked better, and yes, I do think they were playing not to lose. But I think part of that was there's just not the same trust right now with Austin Simmons. Obviously, that there was with Jackson Dart. And look, I mean, he's thrown 2 picks in 2 straight games, and I think they were going to be a little careful, and I think they saw that running game that they have and felt like they could rely on that, and they did, and it worked. They were playing to that defense too, but I would like to say that that's not the same defense. That's no surprise to anyone. But I'd like to see this group right now. They're not getting manhandled or anything like that, but I need to see them make more plays in the backfield. They had a couple of timely sacks in the second half, but they're going to need to create turnovers and just make more big plays as the season goes along.
Well, they didn't make many tackles in the backfield when they opened in the first game against was it Georgia State?
Right. Georgia State.
I didn't see many in the backfield that night either.
Right.
So I think he's got. I think he's just going to have to get it out. But you know what? If I was a Rebel fan, I would be concerned about. Okay, is everybody going to stack it up now, play 8 in the box, and make us throw the ball to beat us? I'm not sure Austin's ready for that. I think he's a great talent. I think everybody believes in Kiffin and that he can recognize talent, and especially in a quarterback. And so, all right, well, let's get back to around the country games. I lost my thought for a minute, like I do a lot. But Marshall and I was talking on the show before your segment that were you surprised that Central Florida beat Florida?
Well, that was South Florida.
South Florida.
And, and I didn't see much of that game. I do know that I watched some of South Florida against Boise the first week, and I know they've got some talent. And look, you always get the smaller team playing harder. And did Florida overlook them? I don't know. I don't think Florida is in a spot where they should be overlooking anybody. But it just wasn't stunning. I mean, I think they have the ability and the athletes to go in there and play well. Was Florida unprepared? Maybe, but it certainly has reinvigorated the conversation about Billy Napier down there.
Huh.
Well, last week it was all over the news that Alabama was chasing Kiffin again, and so this week we figured the rumor would be Florida's chasing Kiffin again. So
well, I mean, he'll be connected with both of them, and and that's something that Ole Miss fans have just learned to live with from year to year. But there's been a lot of vibe from Kiffin about Oxford, in the off season, about what it's meant to him as he's lost his parents there and all of that. I just think that comes and goes, man. There's going to be ebb and flow with that. Kiffin's always going to be mentioned, and he's got his son there and his family in Oxford right now. That doesn't mean anything. I don't think that that's necessarily a guarantee that he won't leave. I think it's an extra consideration, but I just think that this is something that Ole Miss fans are going to deal with as long as Lane Kiffin is their coach, and and it's a form of flattery for the success that he's had there. We'll see. I mean, you're right. I think there'll be the Alabama rumor and the Kiffin rumor and the whatever other job comes open rumor.
So, but Florida doesn't have it easy. I know the next 4 games: LSU, Miami, Texas A&M. I mean, I don't know. I guess the weakest of the 4 would be A&M. I guess I'm not sure if anybody's weak in that 4. But well, will Napier be able to save his job if he gets 3 or 4 wins at the end of the year against folks like Ole Miss and Kentucky and folks like that?
I don't know. I think he's got to have quality wins, and I don't know that Ole Miss alone. He's got to stack some of those together. I don't know, and I don't think Kentucky would be the win that they're looking for. They beat Ole Miss last year, so I think that would kind of take some luster off of that. I don't know that that's a big job-saving win for Billy Napier. He's going to have to stack some wins together to take that pressure off.
All right, do you think right now that you probably watched some of Arch Manning? What's your take on Arch?
Well, I think it was a tough spot. Number one, I think he was a media creation in the off season. This bit about the Heisman and all that, and again, he hadn't really started a meaningful game, and then all of a sudden you throw him in at Ohio State, not against Ohio State in Austin, but at Ohio State. I think it was kind of a predictable result. I think if he had gone in and passed for 350 yards and 4 touchdowns, I think that would have been more of the upset. So I don't know. I think he had a nice game against who did they play this week? San Jose State. He had some touchdown passes. I think he threw another interception there. He's a young guy. He's a very talented young guy, but at the same time, he's got to have these experiences. He's got to be able to know what's coming, to predict, to expect, and that only comes with taking snaps in these games.
Yeah, that defensive coordinator from Ohio State's got a pretty good resume on his own too. He knows what to do with a young quarterback.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it was just not totally unexpected.
Well, as you see the SEC, and I still know that we're still only in week 2, and a lot of teams improved from week 1 to week 2, but it really depends on who they play also. But do you think the 4 top teams, not any certain order, will in the end be like Texas, LSU, Georgia, Alabama? Do you think it's going to be those 4?
Well, it's just so early, and you just learn so much more about these teams from week to week. I mean, those are the teams certainly that are getting the attention right now. Is someone going to emerge? You look what Vanderbilt did at Virginia Tech, and I don't think Vanderbilt is fixing to become your top tier SEC team. But look how hard South Carolina had to fight to beat Virginia Tech on the opening week. And for Vanderbilt to go in there and just control that game and really dominate the second half like they did, has Vanderbilt arrived? I don't know. Probably not to the level that we're talking about when you're talking about the top of the conference. But look, it's just an indicator that teams change. They're not the same week in and week out. They're going to get better. In some cases, they're going to get worse. So it's hard to say right now. I mean, you expect Texas to be there. You expect Georgia to be in the conversation. I don't know that Alabama is somebody that you rule out because of a bad first game. There was a really a lot of enthusiasm for them, and at the beginning of this year, Kalen DeBoer felt like he had a nice roster, had a nice off season. There's a lot of enthusiasm there. I don't know that all of that you just throw all that away right now. It certainly looks like LSU is going to be one of the top tier teams. They didn't have a good offensive game against Louisiana Tech. They were kind of ho-hum there on that side of the ball. They're much improved defensively. So I don't know. I think it's still wait and see.
Well, I just assume when I see scores like the LSU score this week, and even the Florida score, even if they'd have won, they were underdogs by 18.5 points. They didn't even score 18.5 points. So that kind of tells you something. But you just don't feel like Florida really got up for South Florida. You feel like that they said, okay, we got South Florida coming in. We know they're going to play us hard, so let's just play our game and get on out of here and not get hurt. And I always thought that about LSU, let's just, And so I don't put a lot of weight into what they do the week before, probably against anybody, because I know Army surprised me this week. I was telling Marshall in that first segment, Army was beaten by who? Tarleton State. I had to look it up to see where they were located, somewhere in Texas. And then this week they go out and beat one of the Big 12 favorites in Kansas State in a classic game. Of course, Jeff Monken is to me, it's a great coach for Army. He's just he's an aggressive, and I'm sure he's like his brother Todd. He probably doesn't take any lip from anybody, and so I think he's where he needs to be. All right, nationally, you see any surprises this year in college football?
I just really honestly haven't looked at the national picture as much as I do regionally. And that's just all those years of focusing on the SEC. I mean, I scale over the top of the national picture. I can kind of look at it from 30,000 feet, but, I don't know the rosters and the teams really enough to say that this team's going to surprise. This is going to be the team that emerges. It's always fun to watch that play out from week to week, though.
Guys, I hate to interrupt you, but like I told you in our pregame interview there, Parrish, we'd get to a point when I'd stick my nose in and stop everything, and that's where we are. We're about out of time, brother. We want to thank you for taking time out of your schedule. People knocking on your door while we're doing this show, man. You're a busy man. Thank you for being with us today.
Well, I appreciate it, guys. It was lots of fun.
I'm going to ask you to hold on just a minute, Dale, and I'm going to take a break to hear from one of our sponsors and be back with the final segment of the Brouhaha right after this commercial break.
Phillips Building Supply in Laurel, your hometown building supply store since 1954. We are locally owned and pride ourselves on helping our customers find exactly what they need. From foundations to roofs to doors and windows, Phillips has it. For tools, hardware, lumber, and plywood, visit Phillips Building Supply.
Welcome back, everybody, to our final segment of tonight. That was an interesting round we had with, but you know what you do, Dale, when life throws you curves, you know what you do, man. You just
foul them off. You foul them off.
That's right. But we made it through. We appreciate Parrish. Is his name Parrish or Parrish?
Parrish.
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 Okay. All right. He's been around this game a long time, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's probably been in it since the 80s.
Yeah. How long you been in it, Dale?
It's been
Did we talk about the NIL and how it's affecting the Southeastern Conference maybe in a negative way? Did we talk about that in the
Well, I know we didn't, but I heard a little grumbling about it. Somebody was saying that this week that the FCC's getting hurt by it.
Yeah, here's what they said. I read that earlier. Really, I never heard that discussed. But the Southeast has been a football hotbed for years. Mm-hmm. And the Southeastern Conference has been the conference for years. But I was reading an article or listening to a talk show. I can't remember what they were talking about with the NIL. You're looking like at Quinshon Judkins, who went up to Ohio State. You get these players that are now going out of the Southeast to play ball. They would have never done that before because they wanted to be in their own region. But with the money, they don't mind leaving. So what that does, according to this article, is it weakens the SEC. How do you feel about that?
Well, that could be because, I just know that a Minnesota coach came through here one year, and he was talking about, we'd like to have some of these kids from down this way that, they've got speeds, they're more athletic than what we have, but we can't get them to come up there. So, that is an eye opener.
Yeah.
I never really thought about it that way. I know back, but before all the 4-year schools in the South integrated, a lot of black players went up north to play. And so I'm just thinking, I mean, if you're a young kid and you're coming from a family that nobody in your family's ever went to college, you don't have any loyalty to anybody. I mean, you don't have loyalty to them. You may be a fan of somebody's, but you don't have any loyalty to them. And
George Rogers talked about that when he was our guest. You remember that? The program that he had was trying to get kids that had never had a family member go to school before. Mm-hmm. Remember that program? So, there's a lot of, that's what you're talking about, can make a lot of difference because the connections there to keep them home are not here.
Well, if your mom and dad, drag you to a Mississippi State game, from the time you're 5 to 6.
You don't like steak.
Yeah, I like
hell
steak.
steak.
Yeah. So I mean, that's it. Same thing with Ole Miss and Southern.
Yeah. Well, listen, Dale, I'm just butting in all over the place now. We're out of time.
Are we?
Oh yeah, we're out of time, and we want to thank our listeners for being with us and putting up with us again. But we have a lot of fun.
Well, they had to do a lot of putting up to
Hey, but once we roll, baby, we don't back up, we don't back down. That's our motto here at the Brouhaha. Don't back up, don't back down. Let it roll. Laissez le bon temps rouler. But anyway, we appreciate Parrish for being with us, and we want to remind you that you can keep up with us on our Facebook page at the Brouhaha, and you can also see or listen to all of our shows as we catalog them for you, where you can listen to them on demand at our YouTube channel at the Brouhaha. But for now, it's time to say goodbye, Dale.
Goodbye, Dale.
Goodbye, folks, and we'll see you next week for more of the Brouhaha. Get us out of here, Jamie.
You've been listening to the Brouhaha with Del McKee and Marshall Wood. Heard Tuesday evening, 6 p.m. on WABO. For more of the Brouhaha, follow us during the week on Facebook and WABO.